What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about the best healing perks in Dead by Daylight. We'll start with the perks for healing other people first, and then we'll talk about the perks for self-healing afterwards. So when it comes to healing your teammates in Dead by Daylight, there's quite a few options actually as far as perks go, but there are a couple options that shine above the rest. So let's talk about those first. So when we think healing perks, probably the first one, and quite possibly the best one, in my opinion, is going to be the perk called We'll Make It. The beautiful thing about this perk is that it is free in the Blood Web for everybody. You don't have to unlock any special characters to unlock it. And this perk is beautifully simple and very strong in its design. What does it do? When you unhook a survivor from the hook, it increases your healing speed for 90 seconds. So this means when you unhook a survivor, you can heal them basically on the spot, and instead of taking 16 seconds, which is the normal heal time, you will heal them in 8 seconds, which feels absolutely incredible. This lets you reset your teammates so freaking quickly. And the best part is it lasts for 1.5 minutes, and that's actually a long time, guys. Sometimes you'll actually get to use this perk 2, sometimes even 3 times after the initial use, because someone else will get injured or take a hit, and you'll find out, hey, I saw We'll Make It activated. Or sometimes somebody will get slugged and they'll be left on the ground for a little bit, but you still got We'll Make It. You could pick them up really quickly. We'll Make It, such a beautifully simple perk and such a damn good perk. When it comes to perks for helping to heal and reset your teammates, there's probably nothing better than We'll Make It, in my opinion. There's a lot of good options, but We'll Make It to me is probably my favorite option. And this is the perk that I love seeing people bring in lobbies, because it's always like when someone heals you with We'll Make It after you get unhooked, it's just a good day, man. 8 seconds instead of 16 seconds. That's 8 seconds of survivor time saved for you and your teammate. That's a lot of time saved. We'll Make It, absolutely fucking sick. Cannot recommend it enough. Very amazing perk, and the best part is it's free for everybody to get. But the good thing about healing is that there's plenty of options for healing. Besides We'll Make It, another top contender for the first place slot would have to be Botany Knowledge. So Botany increases your healing speed by 50%. So the trade-off between Botany and We'll Make It is 100%, but only for 90 seconds. Botany is 50%, but all the time. You don't have to meet any requirements to get value out of Botany Knowledge, and it's just a flat 50% buff. Now there is a small debuff of this. What happened here? There is a small downside of Botany, and it reduces your healing item efficiency by 20% when you combine it with the medkit. We can talk more about that later. But 50% increased healing all the time is good, and it's noticeable. It's not going to save as much time as We'll Make It saves on healing, but it will save a lot of time. And the best part is that it is 50% constantly, and you can use this perk to stack with your medkits for healing your teammates or healing yourself. And you can use this perk to stack with self-care to heal yourself in a reasonable-ish time. We'll talk more about that later. But Botany Knowledge, the trade-off for the less healing speed is that you have your increased healing all the time. So I would say my third honorable mention, actually we'll have a third option here, and then we'll have some honorable mentions. So a third option I feel I need to talk about is actually Boon Circle Healing. People sleep on this perk. Nobody really runs this perk anymore. It used to let you self-heal yourself whenever it was cast. And because now it only works to help when teammates are healing other teammates, not a lot of people run it anymore. But this basically lets you find a boon totem. You can bless the boon totem and turn it into a boon circle of healing. So within a 24-meter range, which is a huge radius, all survivors in the radius will have a 100% increased healing speed when they heal other people. So essentially, this will give everybody We'll Make It healing speeds. So it's almost like creating a zone on the map where everybody can heal each other really quickly. So the thing with this perk is you have to just play around it a little bit. It's very easy and obvious to see when a boon's active. And when a boon's active, when someone gets unhooked, all you have to do really is just run to the boon, heal them up there, or run to the boon and get healed by your teammates there. If you're with a decent team, it's really not hard to get value out of Boon Circle of Healing. And honestly, I love seeing Boon Circle of Healing in my lobbies because it does really make healing a lot easier, and it also feels really good. So while I wouldn't say it's as good as We'll Make It in Botany Knowledge in terms of like consistency and use, because killers can snuff out your boon totem, it is still a very, very strong option and a top candidate for perks to heal your teammates. Now, there is a few honorable mentions that I don't feel like quite make the cut. The first one is going to be this perk called Desperate Measures. Desperate Measures is pretty good. It does two things. For each injured, unhooked, dying survivor, your healing speed and unhooking actions will increase by 14%. So one injured survivor, you'll heal 14% quicker. 2, it gets better, 28% quicker. 3, 42% quicker. If everybody's injured, it's a 56% increased healing and unhooking speed. So if 4 people are injured, this perk actually gets better than Botany. But odds of that happening are not very high. The trade-off with Desperate Measures is you actually get some quicker unhooking speeds, which, depending on your playstyle, you might actually want it. Doesn't usually make that big of a difference, but it is something worth talking about, especially if you combine it with something like No One Left Behind in the endgame. So why I don't think Desperate Measures makes the cut is because the healing bonus, it's a nice bonus, but it is a little bit inconsistent. There are some arguments for running Desperate Measures over Botany. For example, if you don't want to lose your healing item efficiency when using a medkit combined with it, Desperate Measures is a good alternative because you can use this stacked with medkits and not lose any medkit charges. That would probably be the best reason to use Desperate Measures. But 9 times out of 10, you're much better off using Botany Knowledge. And as far as healing perks, those are going to be my top choices. There are a bunch of other perks that kind of help you heal. I'm not going to go into them too much right now because I feel like these, we've touched on the big ones. There's a couple of other options. Some of you guys are probably going to flip out over Autodidact and some other those little perks. I already know, but we're not going to dig into them too much right now because I don't want this video to be super, super long and extensive. Now, moving on to healing. So let's talk about the medkits really quick, because medkits are actually a very, why do I keep losing connection? Hello? Making content game. Medkits are actually a very strong candidate for healing other people. You get 24 charges in a medkit, and you get a increased healing speed when you heal other people by 35%. And it only takes 16 charges to heal someone. So actually, healing another person takes 16 seconds on average. But if you use just the basic medkit, that'll shave that 16 seconds down to about 11 seconds. And if you use the great medkit, the Ranger medkit, it's actually not that big a difference. It's like 10 seconds. So really, Camping Aid Kit's what you want to use. But the cool thing with this is that it will actually stack with perks like Botany Knowledge and perks like Desperate Measures. So ideally, what I would recommend is have fun with it. You can use medkits also instead of perks to heal your teammates, like using a medkit combined with like a gel dressing and I don't know, whatever you want, honestly, abdominal dressing, some bandages. This, for example, will give you 2 self heals or 3 heals on a teammate. But if you have Botany, you'll lose 20% of your efficiency. So you can heal them really quickly, or you can use something like Desperate Measures. And like Built to Last, so you can refill the charges on your medkit. And then you have this really solid build around using a medkit to heal your teammates, which is honestly a really fun alternative way to go about things. So now let's talk about self-healing real quick. So as far as self-healing goes, what are the options to self-heal? Well, there's a couple, not very many really good ones though. So the first thing that comes to mind is self-care. Where's self-care? Hello? Self. Do I not have self-care? There it is, self-care. So the first thing that comes to mind is self-care. This perk looks good on paper. Unlock the self-care ability, which allows you to heal without a med kit at 35% normal healing speed. This is abysmally horrible, okay? A fully upgraded tier 3 self-care will let you heal yourself in about 45 seconds. And remember, we said it takes 16 seconds to heal somebody else without a med kit or any add-ons or any funky perks going on. This, if you use it to heal yourself, will take 45 seconds. That is literally insane. It's almost 3 times the amount of time it would take for somebody else to heal you. So 9 times out of 10, you're much better off finding somebody to heal you instead. Now, you could use self-care combined with the perk like Botany Knowledge, like we talked about. This will trim this time down to about 30 seconds. It's still not good. It's okay. There are some situations where you might want to use a setup like this so you can use your perk to heal you, but I would not really ever recommend it. 9 times out of 10, you're much better using other things to heal yourself. So now let's segue real quick into the new perk from Sable Ward, Into the Shadows, or what was it called? Shadows, there we go, Inner Strength in the Shadows. This is basically a better version of self-care. This lets you heal in the basement without a medkit at 70% of the normal healing speed. So 35% speed, 70% normal healing speed. So this is a lot faster than self-care, which is good. And you can also heal yourself infinite amount of times with this, which is good. And there's a bonus of seeing the killer's aura when you finish healing yourself for 10 seconds. Cute little addition to this perk. It can also stack with botany to shave off some time too. But it still won't be better than healing yourself with a medkit. So the thing with Strength in the Shadows is that, one, you have to know where the basement's at, and two, the time you spend trying to actually find the basement to heal yourself, you would probably be better off just using self-care with botany anyways. So if you want to use it, more power to you. I'm not saying these are bad perks. They just will take a lot of your time to heal, which is really not what we're looking for. We want to do things as quickly and efficiently as possible. And the quickest, most efficient way possible to heal yourself would actually be just not even using a perk for self-healing. Either it would be relying on your teammates and bringing something like a medkit setup like this, where we have botany, gel dressing, bandages, which will let us heal ourselves twice. And medkits heal, if you use a medkit to self-heal yourself, it should be around 24 seconds. I was really trying to find the number. 24 seconds is the one I saw most consistently. I haven't tested this myself. I need to run into a lobby and test it, but I don't have the time to tonight because I got to go to sleep for work tomorrow. But the time should be 24 seconds, maybe a little less than that, but around 24 seconds, which is infinitely better than healing yourself for 45 seconds with self-care. And remember we said self-care with botany was only 30 seconds. So you can use a med kit like this to get yourself 2 self-heals. You could take off the bandages here and put on a syringe and bring Streetwise with you, which will actually increase your item efficiency by 25%. So it reduces your consumption by 25%. So after doing the math, this will get you 2 self-heals plus a little bit of medkit left over to use a syringe to get a full heal afterwards. This is a great medkit setup for healing yourself a couple times. Another great setup for healing yourself a couple times is actually using botany. What this setup will get for you, do something like bandages for 8 extra charges and the syringe, is this will get you 1 really fast self-heal because botany stacks with your medkit. So this shaves this self-heal time down quite a bit. But then you'll have a little bit of medkit left over that you can use with your syringe to get an instant heal after 16 seconds. And also using the syringe does stack with healing modified perks. So this will stack with botany. So you'll actually heal yourself quicker than 16 seconds, or teammates if you use it on a teammate. So this is a really nice setup I like. It lets you heal yourself twice, but twice is better than nothing. And sometimes, even though it seems like infinite heals with self-care, like Inner Shadows is like the way to go, really 2 heals is plenty for a game. I think it's more than acceptable because a lot of times your teammates will heal you anyway. So this is just like 2 emergency heals when there really isn't anybody around. You can heal yourself twice pretty damn quickly, which is actually a really powerful setup in my opinion. So we have this setup. We had the Streetwise medkit setup. And I would say the last setup, actually, no, I think those are my 2 main medkit setups. Let me think on it a second. So there's the medkit botany setup. There's the medkit Streetwise setup. And then there's a medkit. Yeah, I'm going to say those are like the 2 best setups. There's not really any other combination here that's sticking out for me that I really like to run. Sometimes if you don't want to use a syringe, you can use a scriptic agent to get the endurance instead on your second medkit use. But this is going to consume your medkit either way. But the good thing is that the camping aid kits are basically just as strong as the ranger medkits and the emergency medkits. Like the difference is 5% increased healing on teammates for the better medkits. So just use the camping aid kit, and that way you don't really have to worry about losing it or wasting it or consuming it, because they're the crappy medkits and there's like so many of them in the blood web. So guys, girls, gentlemen, if you liked this video, smash the like button. If you learned something new, let me know. If you know the exact percentages for all of these healing perks I discussed, the ones I was a little confused on the numbers, please feel free to comment down below. I'm sure people would love to see it, and I would love to read it too. That is going to conclude this episode of what are the best healing perks and options for self-healing yourself in Dead by Daylight. And oh my god, hold on, one last perk I gotta mention. Honorable mention few honorable mentions. So there's inner strength from Nancy. Marlon, we're not done yet. Inner healing? What is Nancy's perk called? Oh, I haven't unlocked it yet because Sable doesn't have the Stranger Things characters, so I have to actually go to her. Nancy. There we go. So inner strength. So this perk actually will activate when you cleanse a totem. When it's at tier 3 and you cleanse a totem, you can go into a locker when you're injured and you will self-heal yourself in 8 seconds. This is a really good, really strong healing perk. The only downside is that there's only 5 totems that spawn in a match, and you have to find the totems, and then you have to spend that time to cleanse the totems. So if you think about it, the math will kind of end up being roughly the same as like using like a med kit or ending up like healing yourself with like self-care. But it just works out a lot better because in those moments when you do need to heal, you can actually just go into locker and heal yourself in 8 seconds when you have this perk set up. Instead of wasting 45 seconds injured using self-care to heal. The cool thing about this is that you can do it, and sometimes you get lucky and you have to cleanse like a hex totem anyways, and then you get to activate your inner strength and just have it for later. So this one is an honorable mention for self-healing. Also, I will say one last thing. Empathetic connection, which is apparently not unlocked on Nancy. No, it should be unlocked on her. I just spelled it wrong. Empathetic connection. I'm spelling this wrong. There we go. Empathetic connection. This perk is getting buffed pretty soon. The speed you will heal other survivors will be increased to 30%. And that will actually make this a pretty decent contender for healing other people. Your aura is revealed to the survivor that's injured and they can see within 96 meters. So the idea is they come find you and you heal them so you don't have to waste time finding people to heal. This is going to be a really good perk worth trying out once the next patch hits. Keep it in mind. I'm going to end this video here. I've been talking quite a bit. Anyways, if y'all enjoyed this, smash the like button. I love you. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out. Bye.